You know, some stories aren't written in books. They're etched into the very soul of a land, passed down from one generation to the next. Today, we're going to delve into one of those chronicles, a story that spans an entire century. This is the legend of a man whose life became a living testament to faith itself, Luang Pu Kram. See, he wasn't really known to the world by the name he was given at birth. He was known by the title that the people, in their unwavering faith, bestowed upon him. They called him the God of the Eastern region, a name that just echoed with pure reverence all along the shores of Thailand.
To many, he was also the god of Rayong, and to the sailors and fishermen, he was the father of the Eastern Sea. For 100 years, his name, his very presence, was like a spiritual anchor, a source of incredible comfort and just unbelievable blessings for anyone who sought his help. So, let's explore the path that forged such an extraordinary legend.
A figure of this magnitude doesn't just appear out of thin air. They are made. His journey wasn't some sudden flash of enlightenment. No, it was decades spent in quiet, relentless devotion, a path of discipline that would build the very foundations for an almost unbelievable power. So let's just trace the path of his life for a moment. He was born way back in 2440, that's 1897 for us. At age 20, he was ordained. And get this, just 4 years later, he becomes the abbot of his home temple, Wat Wang Wa. His rise was steady, quiet, and powerful, eventually culminating in a prestigious royal title in his final years, a whole century of service, marked by this consistent, humble leadership.
And his power, it wasn't just some abstract thing born of faith alone. It was built on a foundation of deep, real-world knowledge. He mastered ancient scripts, he studied traditional medicine, and he became this famous bone setter. He even sought out the great master Luang Pu to learn Vipassanā meditation, training his mind and his spirit with just relentless discipline. This was the bedrock. This is what his entire legend was built upon.
And you know, when you build up that kind of inner power, it's bound to start showing on the outside. And boy, did it ever. Stories of its manifestation began to spread like wildfire. This is really where history starts to merge with legend, because his spiritual practice began to have this tangible and often unbelievable impact on the world around him.
Okay, get this. In 1993, a story about his power hits the entire nation. 2 members of parliament and a police general, all of them facing these huge career moments, went to him to seek his blessing. And not long after, every single one of them got the exact promotion they had been hoping for. It was so incredible that it made headlines and cemented a phrase in the public's mind: the monk's spells are potent. But look, his miracles weren't just for the powerful people. Long before any headlines, he was known simply as the monk doctor. Countless villagers, fishermen, farmers, they'd come to him with broken bones. And using his ancient knowledge and spiritual focus, he mended limbs that, at the time, modern medicine couldn't fix. This earned him this deep, grassroots reverence, built on real healing and compassion.
Healing the body is one thing, an incredible thing. But the stories that truly cemented his legend, they suggested a power far, far greater, a power that could challenge the sky itself. And that brings us to what is maybe his most famous miracle of all.
I want you to just imagine this scene. There's a temple, its most sacred hall is completely exposed, the roof is gone. And of course, this is right when the monsoon season hits. The clouds are gathering every single day, threatening to flood the entire place, ruin all the work, and desecrate this holy space. The situation? It just seemed impossible, a race against a storm you just can't win.
Well, the answer to this impossible problem was a sacred artifact that Luang Pu Kram himself had created, the Phayant Pat Bok. It looks like a simple cloth, right? But it's inscribed with these potent yantras, and it was believed to hold a very specific and very incredible power. Now, this wasn't just any old amulet. This cloth was said to have a threefold power. First, and this is the big one, it could literally wave away storms, change the direction of the wind and rain. Second, it could wave away all forms of evil and misfortune. And third, it could do the opposite. It could beckon good fortune and prosperity towards you. For the people on the coast, especially fishermen, this was an object of immense power. So they raised the Phayant Patbak on a simple bamboo pole above the temple. And then the impossible happened. Witnesses, people who were there, described how these huge storms would form. Rain would pour down everywhere in the surrounding areas, but it was like a protective bubble existed right over the temple.
For weeks this went on. Not a single heavy drop fell on that sacred hall until the roof was finally complete. It was a divine act, witnessed by an entire community.
Of course, every mortal life has to end. But for a man like Luang Pu Kram, the end of his physical journey was really just the beginning of his immortal legacy. And that final chapter would offer one last enduring miracle.
This was his final age, a life that spanned more than a century. Just let that number sink in for a second. 100 years, 1 month, and 11 days of devotion, of healing, of faith. A lifetime of merit that became a legend all on its own. He passed away peacefully in 1997, but a final testament to his purity and his spiritual power was waiting. His mortal remains, they didn't decay. To this day, his uncorrupted body is enshrined in a glass coffin at Wat Wang Wa. It's a continuing miracle that draws pilgrims from all over, a physical manifestation of a truly incorruptible spirit.
So after everything, when people would ask for the secret to his life, Luang Pu Kram offered a teaching that was so simple yet so profound it became his ultimate legacy. Do it to be seen, live it to be known. What he meant was clear. Let your actions be your sermon. Let your life be your lesson. He didn't just talk about holiness, he lived it for 100 years for everyone to see, a life that became its own undeniable proof of the extraordinary.